Did I do that right? I think I did that right. We do it every week, and every week I feel like I did something wrong when we first start. Let's see. Yeah, I think we did that right. You guys let me know. Where'd the chat go? You guys let me know if you can hear me good and see me good. Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and this is the Walking Dead Weekly, the after show where we discuss, let me take my headphones off, where we discuss the Walking Dead, the most recent episode. What do you mean finally here live? Oh, you mean you're finally here live. I was about to say the episode was longer than it usually is, so, and I went on just, 15 minutes after, so I trolled myself, though. I got one of these really neat, let me see if I can show you. One of these, like, oh my god, I almost trolled myself again. Where is it at? Yeah, one of these things, and it sprays out this cashmere wood. Smells so good. Oh my god, smells so good. But I put it on the shelf, like, shoulder height, and I just walked into the room, and it, like, sprayed me in my eyes. Legit. I had to go get paper towels and wipe my... And look, I keep aiming it at my face. Like, any moment now, it's going to go... and then get me in the fucking eyes again. Okay, so, yes. You guys hear me good, see me good? A lot of you are crying, it looks like. Took way too long to tell us nothing again. Yeah, this is one of those difficult episodes where it is a slow death. It's a death we know is coming. So even though I'm into it still, and I'm into it to see how it's going to impact the characters and yada yada yada. On the same strength, I'm kind of like, let's go, die already, But there was moments and beats in there where I felt like, man, if they would have just trimmed it, it would have been right to the point and so awesome. But you can't trim it. You have to show so much focus on this big character. It's a big character death, so it's kind of like a tribute episode. And I see a handful of people saying it sucked. I got choked up when it's always when I didn't really cry. I don't know. It's off. It's not like one of those crying episodes, but I got choked up with some of the father conversations. Now that I'm a dad, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? So, anyway, I made a list. If you're new here, we are definitely going to go into spoilers because we talk about everything we just seen. So if you didn't see the episode yet, we're definitely going to ruin it. And I did make this thumbnail before I saw the episode. I know we're going to get someone that goes, I didn't see it yet. Thanks for the spoiler and the thumbnail. And it's like, what are you watching? What show are you watching? We did have a Negan in the hallucination dream, and he had his beard out somewhat. Remember where we saw the actor had his beard long, and I was like, I wonder if that's for the new beginning. I was kind of right. I'm going to count that as a right prediction. I said it was for the new beginning, or they were testing it for the new beginning, and it was kind of, because it was the hallucination new beginning. Let's run down my list. The Polaroids. Carl took a Polaroid. Keep an eye on that, I think, because they're showcasing the Polaroid camera through the war and everything. I really think that we could see that again. The image, the actual picture. I guarantee this right now. We will see the picture with Carl and Baby Judith with the Polaroid in season 9. Put it that way. Coming up with the Big Cat Bar. I thought that was a nice little tribute. Because didn't Michonne and him make a bet for the last Big Cat Bar back in season 4 or something like that? And he was kind of making friends with Sadiq, so that's where I kind of thought it was a little tribute thing. We had Morgan with the sniper moment. We saw that a while ago as a preview, but I thought there was really good tension in the way they filmed that. Gavin making his way to the kingdom. It's iffy how they're bouncing around with the timeline, but some of it worked. Like, I don't know if anyone noticed, the end of the episode is a wounded Rick, or at least it looked like a wounded Rick, bleeding from his side and blood all over his hand. We're going to get to that in a second. And it's one of those moments where I'm like, guys, stop messing with the timeline. Just stop. That's not interesting, because chances are it's the moment in the comic book where he gets wounded and we think he's going to die. He probably is sitting out there thinking he's going to die, and he's not going to die, and then it's going to lead into something else. I feel like they're throwing these in there as internet gossip bait, and it takes away a little bit from the I don't know, it just takes away from the story. It feels gimmicky. It doesn't feel like an authentic, interesting moment. It's just kind of like we have this situation, we have a character death, and it's so sad and tragic, and ooh, look at Rick is bloody and hurt, and it looks like he committed suicide, you know, but obviously that's not what it is. Anyway, Henry, yeah, damn kids always getting in the way of good shows. I don't think the acting of the kid is what threw it off. He wasn't in there much. It was just like, oh, come on, enough focusing on these kids. What is the damn point? We see the point later on, but I really liked the conflict with Gavin, and I do enjoy seeing the back and forth between what's going on with Gavin and then Morgan and everybody, and then Rick and Carl's interactions. The dialogue, I will say, is a bit thick. It was a bit on the nose, especially between Carl and Siddiq, and I'm not even against what was conveyed. I'm not even against the point they were going for, but I am against the dialogue they use. I really felt like they could have made it a little more human, you know, and just kind of had Siddiq, you know, openly, polish it up some, make it a little more, I don't know how else to say it other than human, and just have him go, listen, exactly what they started saying, I can never repay you for what you did, you know, you died helping me, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to make it worth it. I'm going to support your people. I'm going to be here for them. I'm never going to turn my back on them. But what we got instead was kind of a little bit like it was feeding us. I don't know. Just people don't talk like that. That's all I got to say. Anyway, I don't want to harp on that for so long. I really love the Carl and Michonne, where Michonne or Carl says, "You're my best friend." I did love that. I like that a lot. Godzilla dumped a super chat on us. 2472 Godzilla, $5 super chat. Sup, Map fam, long time no see. I haven't seen an episode yet. Forgot it was on tonight. I'm gonna watch it now, but I'm still here to support you, Ronnie. Oh, you the man. Thank you. Go watch it and then come back real quick and let us know what you think about it. All right, so Gavin, the dude. Oh yeah, I kind of wanted a moment where instead of Henry killing Gavin, Henry was like, my God, Godzilla, I hope you freaking left. I'm sorry. Did I give you enough time to go? I hope so. But I really, in the moment it happened, it hit me. Okay, that's what they're doing. The Henry scene with Gavin, and then you have how it impacts Carol, and then Morgan. You have Morgan going through this thing, and now he sees Henry, and yet I feel like that's going to impact Morgan, and that's the direction they're going with it. A part of me kind of wanted, since they're doing an homage to Carl, I really wanted maybe Henry to come in and go, you know, do it, just do it. Remember when Carl did that where Rick and Shane were going to execute that guy? There was a part of me that thought, man, that was a nice opportunity to have a callback and yet still keep Gavin alive to use him for something later on. I will say that I'm fine with Gavin being killed. I'm cool with them killing him because of how he was acting and what he was talking about. If he was a little bit different, I know he seemed like a savior that might be turnable, you know. But then after some of the stuff he was saying, I'm like, yeah, I'm all right with him dying. But it wasn't like he was a terrible savior, the worst of the worst, you know. But anyway, old man Rick explained, yes, we did a video, and that was definitely on the point. So I guess it was definitely a spoiler that got leaked. If anything, that's a rumor or spoiler. Guys, don't worry about contacting me on Facebook. Like, I do appreciate it, but when it gets to the rumors and spoilers, I'm good not hearing about it, put it that way. Well, I did do a video on it, though, because it was one of those that I don't think it did anything. Like, for me, it didn't hurt my enjoyment in watching it, so we did cover that in a video. But yes, if you didn't get that, it wasn't Rick having a hallucination. They did get us there. It was actually Carl having the dream of what the world would look like, which got me thinking, okay, never mind, I was wrong. Rick isn't going to have a season 1 look now. I thought that might be a nice direction to go. That's a little bit different from the comic book. But now I'm thinking, okay, Rick is going to grow his beard out in memory of Carl because he said, I'll make it real. So yes, guys, we will get the New Beginning Rick, but I don't think they can do the Kane. For 2 reasons. One, I think it's a little ridiculous to have an actor 9-10 years on the show, and for the last few years he's on the show, make him have a fake limp like that in this type of show. I don't think it works. Number 2, I think it's silly that Carl would have this hallucination of what the world could be like if they all survived and worked together and he got it right that Rick would get an injury that he needed a cane for. So I'll tell you right now, I think this was a way for them to show us a New Beginning Rick that was paying homage to the comic book, but in the real New Beginning Rick, we're not going to have a cane. He'll just grow his beard out, and he might just have like a little buzz cut. So, and I do think he's going to look different. I do really, if you don't like how he looked in the flash forward hallucination, I think you'll be fine with how he looks when they do it for real, for real. What else we got? The final shot with the gun silenced. I love that moment. That was my all-time favorite, absolutely favorite moment in this episode, the entire episode. The way the angle of the camera was that got the ruins of not just Alexandria and the battle, but also the this old world that they're in, this old, post-apocalyptic zombie-filled world that they're in. There was something about that angle. There was something about having it as a silenced gunshot, and then the way Rick and Michonne kind of broke down after. The only little gripe is I thought that scene in particular would have been tremendous as one where they just linger on it. You linger a few seconds and get the viewer just like wondering what's going to happen now, and then you have the gunshot. So I could take it or leave it. I loved how they did it, but I still think having, a good solid 20 seconds of silence just of them on the porch and then having a gunshot would have just, I don't know, something special about having that, I don't know. I think that's a different type of perspective and different tastes. I think that would have been like, oh my God, crushing. It was still great the way it was. What do you also have? The end with Rick and the blood. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but someone mentioned Morgan. I forgot about this, ripping the guy's guts out. I love that there was that level of gore, because a lot of people are saying, oh, The Walking Dead is losing its balls with the gore, and I understand why fans are saying that because of the comments that Gale Anne Hurd made to that TV, I think it was Gale Anne Hurd made to the TV guide, some type of thing, and I don't know why she said it still to this day. I think I know what she was getting at. She was kind of, it looked like she was kind of doing some sort of damage control for the people who were freaking out about it by just saying, oh, look, it was this situation where we needed to go that ultra violent, but don't worry, we're not going to be gore porn for the sake of being gore porn. I think that was what she was trying to convey, or maybe she was just trying to do damage control to the people who were complaining and say, okay, yada, yada, yada. And it just ultimately backfired, because still to this day, fans think when any little thing happens, a lot of fans think they're cutting the gore out, which sometimes I think it's valid, and then sometimes I think maybe it's just that in the back of our mind playing tricks on us. What else we have? The Rick covered in blood. I already gave my thoughts and opinions on that. I think that is an unnecessary scene, and it's probably just the injury from the comic book. And they're giving us, chit-chat speculation bait. That's all it is. Specs. It's called spec bait. I don't know. We're going to take some comments, though. That is just about it for my first impression review. And we're going to go into the fan feedback, reading your comments. I will end it by saying, yes, it was a good episode. I liked it. It was not a blow your mind out of this world. I think a good and a bad thing about it is the good having an episode that honors such a big character. It's kind of something you need. This is a huge character death. You kind of need to dedicate a whole episode. At the same strength, it did hurt it a little bit because it felt like the length of it was affecting how emotional it was. It was like, okay, you're dragging us out for the whole episode. We get it. Can we move on? But no, we can't move on because it is a big character death. So it is one of those where if some fans think it drug on a bit, yeah, I see why you're saying that. I see why you feel that way. It is a bit of a drag on. I'm still not convinced yet about Carl's change in his perception. I get what he's saying, but I'm really curious to see what else is left in that letter, and I can't wait till we get to that point. So let's read a couple. I think I've seen somebody who disagrees. I like getting some different opinions here, so let's see what this is here. I totally disagree. I think if Rick got maimed like in the comics and was more of a diplomatic leader, then it works fine having comic Rick in the show. It's part of the character. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's not in a disagreement. I have always said, and I still always believe, Rick being a more diplomatic leader is the way to go, and send new characters so we can get attached to the new people. We're always going to be attached to Rick. we can get attached to them going out on missions, and then we can check back in on Rick and yada yada yada. My whole thing is just how silly it is. Carl daydreaming about him having a wounded leg with a cane, and then here it actually happens like that. You know what I mean? I think that's absolutely silly. But I'm not against him having the wound. It's just that issue, and we simply don't need it. Because, you know, he's the leader. Everyone trusts, and they're going to follow him. You don't send your leader, you know, your king, your president, you don't send them to go and discover what else is out there. You don't send them out, you know, to get killed and never return. I mean, that's your leader. That's just something you don't do. So I think he should sit back and be more of like the leader at the headquarters. All right, what else we got? So no one heard Henry walking out from the cornfields. No, apparently not. If they're going to replace Carl with Henry storyline-wise, I'm disappointed. I still don't think that's the direction they're going to go. I think they did that with Henry because of they need to bring Morgan around somewhat or affect Morgan in some way. And they need to wrap up and still, you know, keep Carol's storylines not over with her having a problem with killing and stuff. So I think the Henry situation, having to kill or wanting to kill or killing that Gavin, is going to play a part in that. What if Carl wrote a letter to Judith and later down the road, older Judith reads what her late brother... I thought he did. I assumed he did. He wrote one to Enid, Michonne, and Rick. I thought he did write one to Judith. I hate how they kept switching from Carl's death to Gavin's death. I felt like it broke apart the scene. They should have had it as one continuous scene. What do you think of the scene, Ronnie? I'm fine either way. I know what you mean, but it was still playing into it a certain way. And because of Morgan being on the killing them all, and that Carl is, you know, you can't kill them all. That's not something you can do. It's going to go wrong or break you. It's not even possible. I mean, and it isn't unless you become the villain and hunt down and murder every single savior and worker there. No, that'd be like Rick back in season 3 murdering everybody at Woodbury. That's not who Rick is, and that's what Carl's essentially saying here, or part of what he's saying. But for people who don't like how they kept switching, I understand why, because it's pulling you out of the moment. I think a reason why I was fine with it though is because Carl's death is a tricky one. It's kind of that if you don't write it right, it's going to be awkward. I mean, come on. It's like you guys got to, okay, leave now so I can shoot myself in the head. It is an awkward scene, so having something to help kind of break it up and show there's a passing of time without just showing, you know, fade in and out of Carl. So I'm fine with that. How'd you react? How do you think Negan will react to Carl passing? Well, I think we're going to see an emotional side, not an emotional side, but Negan's going to be understanding in a way, especially when it comes to certain things. I think that's what he's saying on the radio. We see him kind of like, you know, Rick, who else has to die? Why are we doing this? But in the same strength, I don't want them to lay it on too thick because Negan was going to bash his fucking head in. So I really don't care about any type of connection now between Negan and Carl because, again, he was going to bash his head in. So none of it makes any sense. If he does it in the way of understanding Rick lost somebody that was really close to him and Negan lost someone that was really close to him and he kind of has that sympathy, you know, the empathy, yeah, that's fine. But anything more than that, it's like, Negan, what are you doing? You were going to bash the kid's fucking head in. So they made an interesting connection with Henry killing Gavin and Carl reminiscing about killing the kid in season 3. Morgan was a beast. Ronnie, did you like the callback when Carl killed the kid in season 3? Yeah, I like when they brought that up. I did like when they brought that up. I like when they bring things up from the past. That's a very realistic thing. That's a very organic thing. You know, if these people were real in real life, they would talk about the past. They would talk about old times and old things. And a lot of times you don't see that realism in Hollywood because, like I said before, it's like a law in Hollywood. You can't ever, as a screenwriter, write something that the audience already saw, you know, unless you're giving them new information, yada, yada, yada. In this case, they gave us new information. Like back in season 5, I think, where they talked about missing Andrea and stuff. I really like those little moments. It adds a level of realism to these characters. It doesn't have to always give us new information, especially with TV shows. They can break more rules more screenwriting rules than movies. In a movie, you have a limited amount of time. In a TV show, you got a lot more leeway. So I've got to say, Carl giving Rick's sheriff hat to Judith was much better than the comic version of Carl giving the hat to Lydia. That scene, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the scene with Carl talking to Judith got me choked up a bit. I agree with that, definitely. Now, Judith isn't in the comic, so obviously now we know why, or yeah, obviously that's why Judith doesn't get it in the comic, but I do like that better. So am I upset that Gavin won't be around anymore? A little bit. I kind of feel like I wanted a little more from the Gavin character. So Carl, in his dream, predicted Rick getting his leg broken in the comics. Did Carl read the comics before dying? Yes, he was an avid comic reader. Why would they go to the hilltop? That's the first place Negan will look. No, he's not. The screenwriters won't have him look there. Simple. Would like to scene in the past where that hat actually... Wait. Would have liked to see a scene in the past seasons where the hat actually comforted Carl. Yeah, we could have got something like that. That seems off the top of my head like one of those tricky scenes to do. Like, you would have to show it as in Carl's gonna go out and do something risky. See, we can't hear his thoughts. So he's going to go out and do something risky, and he's about to leave, and then he stops for a moment, and then sees a picture of his dad, and then looks over at the hat, and then grabs his hat. And then we could kind of, I mean, it's a bit, if you're paying attention, it's a bit much, it's a bit thick, but you have to find those sort of ways to go, okay, he's taking his dad with him. It gives him comfort. You have to do something like that. Can you explain Carl killing the kid in season 3? Yeah, Carl and Herschel went out outside the prison, and the kid attacked and ran away, and he ran up and he was going to give up his gun, and Carl just shot him. Yeah, there's not much to that. It was a real quick scene. Maybe they revert the roles with Judith fall in love with the male whisperer, and that is how we get to see. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I don't understand how they're going to do that, because the time skip's not going to be that much. Judith is only, what is she, 3? You know what I mean? They'd have to skip 10 years to even, 10 years they'd have to skip. I don't see them doing that. I don't think they're going to remix Judith and the Whispers. I think it'll be someone else. I think Judith just gets the hat. And maybe a future role in like season 2 or something. Maybe they, you know what, honestly, if I want to put my conspiracy speculation hat on, if they were setting up for a true franchise and they wanted to have a backup plan for a new season, a new series that connects directly to the old original series, if you were ending the show in a few seasons, you could bring it back with a grown-up Judith. I was about to say Juliet. Yes, cast Juliet as Judith. You could do that, say 10 years, 15 years has passed after either Rick's dead or whatever, and the original show is gone, and we follow a grown-up Judith. You can have a whole new world now that is functioning with groups and all these other things. It could be a totally different and new Walking Dead that's directly linked to the original show. That's something that I can see the studio wanting to keep open, a possibility. Yeah, Morgan was like Jason, just walking towards his victims. Popular characters. Do I think Daryl could die now? No, not yet. Not yet. You can't off all the main characters like that. Sadiq is so annoying. I will honor you. What the fuck, kid? Wait. Kid of writing is that? Kind of writing is that? Yeah, that's what I mean, though. The dialogue is thick. They need to bring it down and, just, I will honor you. Just tell them, be like, listen, I'm going to be here for your friends and family. You gave me essentially a new beginning, a new lease on life. I don't know what could have happened. I could have died. Someone could have came and killed me. You saved my life. Every moment after this, I owe it to you. I'm going to be here for your friends and your family, and anything your father needs, I got him. I will support you, or I'll support the ones you love to pay you back for the life. Yeah, I said that wrong. You know what I mean, though. If they just said it straight up like how people really talk, I would have been fine with it. What if they skipped 10 years? They could, but ouch. Yeah, the Whisperer story is messed up now. Judith is going to be a badass. Lil Henry's new Carl. I hope not. I love the bit between Carl and Siddiq. I wish the hat would have died. I think Judith is 3 or 4 years old. Yeah, even 3 or 4. Let's say she's 5. Do we really want to see a 12 or 13-year-old falling in love and have that type of story arc? No. So it'd have to be a 10-year time skip. Aaron says, do you think killing Carl was a mistake? This is another tricky one. At this time, I'm not convinced it was the right thing to do. At this time, I am still wondering why they did this. Because, like I said before, 100 times before, you could have achieved the same thing easily without killing Carl. You could have just simply had Carl being like, listen, Dad, I want you to do this, this, and this, and this. And you could have gotten there, you know. Do you think Enid's letter will just say JSS? That would be a troll and a half. I think it'll say it, you know, on there, but not just that. The facts that Siddiq got a longer goodbye than Daryl did pissed me off. Yeah, I was expecting a little more from Daryl, but I play Johnny Cash after each episode. Hey, Henry's not a good wait. Yeah. I heard Lauren Cohan was looking to star in a new show. Yeah, we were going to discuss this in a video I was trying to post earlier today, but I didn't get a chance to. She did take a role on another TV show. It is a pilot, so it might not even get picked up. And I think headlines are saying she's not even re-signed her contract. This is a tricky one. I'm going to look into it a little more, and then we'll discuss it more. This gets tricky for a number of things. One, an actor's job is to take different roles and act. She's done movies before. The actress playing Michonne has done movies before. The actor playing Daryl has done movies before. All of them are doing other projects. Some of them, yes, they lose this job and then they go into another project. There might even be stuff, and this is what makes it extremely difficult, going on behind the scenes, like maybe contract negotiations where it's not working between her and AMC. We don't know any of that. I do know the cast itself, the cast and the crew have this really amazing bond that if there was anything going on and she wanted to leave the show, it has to be with AMC. I can't imagine it would be with any of the cast and crew. They just seem like they have such a great bond, or at least the majority of them, you know. So yeah, again, I don't know. I don't think she would leave the show just yet. Walking Dead it's so good for your career. I don't understand why someone would want to leave it. I don't know. It's one of those tricky ones, but the reason it's tricky is because we don't know all the facts. I'd rather see something different than beef with a new group, so please no more villains for a while. What happened to Jerry? He's around. Could someone explain the ending scene with Rick and the bloody hand under the tree? Yeah, we'll do a video on that tomorrow, but it's essentially just a tease saying he gets really hurt coming up in the war. So if they do a 10-year time skip, everyone should aged. Why does everyone think Rick got bit? What did I miss? At the end, he was bloody under a tree. I think the episode had a right amount of gore. I don't think anyone needs to take Carl's storyline at moments, but yeah, he's really dead now. Yep, it's official. We don't have to worry about any rumors or speculation. Carl is dead. Yeah, let me know. Why do you guys... Wait, what? Why do you think Henry's being set up to lead the series later on? That is insane. What makes you think that? What did you think about that song in the beginning of the episode? Felt a little too happy considering the situation. It was a little iffy. I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't hate it though. I do want to see him and Siddiq interact instead of a montage. That is one little peeve of mine, one little con. I want to see them have a little moment, you know, instead of just the montage and we have to go, oh, okay, they had a moment. Do you think the views will drop in the next episode? No, I don't. I don't know. This is a rough one. I think it's going to fluctuate. I think from here on out, it'll fluctuate until we get something in that's just on fire, you know? I felt Daryl should have had a better goodbye. I would be upset if she left. Scott Gimple is a fool for firing Carl and letting the beautiful Lauren Cohan leave the show. He should be fired. Well, she's not leaving the show yet. I will say, though, I will be a little upset if it's just the actress who's like, yeah, I want to do other things, and leaves. I'm real rough when it comes to actors, and I don't think I'm ever going to feel different. When it comes to actors going into a franchise, you know, it's different than just working at a factory. It's different than just, you know, finding a job and yada. Like when you go into something that has a fan base built into it, if you're not there to support that fan base, you know, don't put yourself out. But in the same strength, yeah, you're there for the fan base and this, that, and the third. You can't, or at least I don't like actors who go, oh, The Walking Dead is hot, let me get on there to grow my own career, and then just bounce, especially if it's a huge role, you know. She knew that was a big role when she signed on. She knew that was a huge role when she signed on. If she didn't, then she just, you know, wildly overlooked that. But I don't, that's what I'm waiting for. I want to know more stuff, because I have a hard time supporting actors who go into franchises and then leaves. I'm a little more lenient on Dale and Dale's situation, because they had shit going on behind the scenes that it's a little more understandable. And if something comes out about that, if there's problems with the actress playing Maggie because of the studio and everything, you know, I'm more lenient on that. But if it's just simply like, nah, I'm out of here, I got what I wanted out of this show and the fans, and I'm gone, like, I find that to be disrespectful, and I won't support actors who do that. Like, John Bernthal came in, rocked it, and he left. Good life, good death on the show. I'll support him in everything he does. Plus, he's wildly talented. Maggie has talent, absolutely. So, as of right now, I'll support her in anything she does. But if it came out tomorrow that it was like, yeah, I want more money, but like a shit ton more, and I want, you know, I want to be the star in a new season, some ridiculous shit, I wouldn't support her in anything she's ever did. And let me clarify, that's not what she's doing. I'm giving you guys an example of where I stand when actors leave a franchise. I think Ricky under the tree, just him tired after digging Carl's grave. He recently injured his hand, so digging probably reopened the wound. Nah, buddy, you need to watch that again. He is covered in blood. If his hand is bleeding that much, there is something seriously wrong. It's not just his hand, it's his side. There's blood soaked all in his shirt. It is everywhere. Go rewatch that. Is the Storm stuff in the promos a foreshadowing to some later? Yeah, I don't know what you mean. That was hard. It made me almost cry. AMC are cheapskates. I know people are not watching. What do you think about the gun conveniently sliding to Ezekiel? It's a little convenient, but wait. Do we collect money for AMC to use some more lights on the show? It was dark as shit. Yo, I tell you what, some of that pisses me off. On my TV, I'm going through all my settings, I'm making it brighter, and The Walking Dead is because I know some people, I talked about this before, some people go, oh, it's your TV, it's your damn TV, it's your settings. I don't have that problem with movies. I don't have that problem with any other shows. It's only The Walking Dead. I gotta mess with my settings because it is so ridiculously dark. And then I'll watch it on Amazon, and it'll be a lot better, but still really dark for some scenes. And then I'll watch the behind the scenes, and they film it in like daytime. Like, remember when Rick fought Negan? Look at the behind the scenes on that. The images, it's like daytime. Why do you need to make it that dark? I mean, you can make it dark, yeah, but what? Anyway, Chandler was fired, question mark. Well, essentially, yeah, if you're killed off, that's what they call it, being fired, you know what I mean? Joey Cat, 1000. Where do you think Rick and Michonne's mindset at since Carl is gone? Obviously just crushed it. Thank you very much for the super chat, but obviously the first thing, not obviously, I mean the first thing I would go towards is just being a mixture of lost. I mean, such a big loss, it just kind of leaves you with a void, you know. So lost just in a bit of a like a depression rut, but also in the same strength. They can't just lay down and mope, you know. They can't. They'll be defeated. They need to get up and move. So I think there's going to be a lot of anger, maybe even a lot of misplaced anger. There's going to be a new drive and a new focus because getting this war out of the way is going to keep other people from dying from stupid shit before. Because like I said, they could do the safe roads and passages, and they can set up everything to keep the community safe. So that Rick Bloody Under a Tree ending was essentially a major comic tease. I was so happy when I saw that. I was like, yes, but also sad about Carl. Yeah, I was the opposite. I'm like, oh, why do you need to mess with the timeline and just slap a scene in there? Oh, you know, it's, I don't know. Wait, okay, why spoil how the season ends? They dead ass showed that they will keep Negan alive. No, not necessarily. That was just, you know, Carl's hallucination dream. What will happen with Lydia when the Whispers arc happens on the show? Have her and Enid be lesbians, bisexual people? No, they don't have to. First off, I think that would just be forced and stupid, to be honest. We have Enid showing interest in Carl. They had their first kiss. I just think it is out of character to just go, no, we need to, you know, have Lydia on the show. Let's just make Enid gay. You know, just do that. I think that's stupid. I think personally they should just have them as friends. I mean, what's so wrong about that? It fits. You know, one girl telling another girl, a young girl telling another young girl, that's not the right life, man. Like, they mess with your head. That is not the right way to live, and yada, yada, yada. They could be friends. Tammy Schultz says, I'm so upset how much I'm disappointed. I don't even want to watch it again. Ouch. Do you think the Whisperers will show up at the end of the season? No. No. Just no. I mean, here's the thing. Do I think they'll put it in there? Yes. I do think they might put something in there. Do I want them to do it? No, no, and no. A lot of the Whisperers... listen, there's millions of people watching the show. Millions who do not know what the Whisperers are. The online active fan base is a fraction. It's only a fraction of what fans that watch the show. Now, given there's a lot that hear things and yada yada yada, but there's still more fans that don't know anything that's coming up than there are fans that do. So I think revealing it or showing it or hinting it in any way that gives us an idea of what's coming up is terrible. Give us a hint or a tease, that's fine, but don't reveal the Whispers. Don't show them. That reveal needs to be saved for live in the middle of an episode. Don't put it in a trailer or a teaser. Don't do any of that. No cliffhanger with the no, and no. How do you feel about Negan's scene at the end? I don't care about it because, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I don't care about it, meaning I don't hate it, because it was just Carl hallucinating it, you know? The only thing I like about The Walking Dead right now is that Michonne found her daughter. Chandler Riggs does her better. They darken it so you can't see the gore and the zombie makeup. What do you think will happen with the Oceanside? By the way, love your vids. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate that. Glad you enjoy. What do I think will happen to Oceanside? They'll join the fight. I think that's the main thing that, you know, needs to happen with them. I would imagine the way Glenn died, it would be elicit more of an emotional response. I can't believe Carl still remembers Jody from season 3 finale. Yep. How do you think Siddiq will fit into the group? Do you think he would treat him differently, especially Rick and Michonne? No, I don't think so. He did say he was a resident, though, so I'm assuming he's going to have some kind of capacity as, like, Alexandria's new doctor. So he was tore up, so was Michonne. Everyone is pissed about Siddiq having the longest goodbye. Laugh out loud. Gimple confirmed. Gimple confirmed they'll tease the next big storyline in the season 8 finale, similar to how they teased the Saviors during No Way Out, but not as big of a tease. We'll have to see on that. Do you think season 9 will be good? Now, let's be clear here, though. When I'm talking about the Whispers and hinting, cliffhangers, confirming, I'm legit talking about the actual Whispers. If they tease something coming up, as long as they don't actually show somebody in a mask and yada yada yada, I'm fine. I don't care. But if they straight show them masks and talking and in the herd, if they reveal enough to where people can guess it, no, I don't want that. Ryan said this episode was so predictable it actually hurt. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, Carl was gonna die, and you can blame that on the fact that they are doing these, you know, you gotta watch the next episode type storytelling, which is a bit frustrating. So, not a Q&A, but just wanted to say I love your content, comic, and personality. Keep up the great work, Ronnie, the Walking Dead fan for life over here. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, speaking of which, let's just take a second just to remind you guys, Doomsday Kingdom, my comic. Oh my god, I actually forgot. I trolled myself in the beginning of the video and I actually forgot. Doomsday Kingdom, the pre-orders for issue 2 and the second print for issue 1 with the variant cover, they are up right now on pre-order. The pre-order went live a couple hours before The Walking Dead. So, you know what? I was going to pull up. Let me pull this up over here. I'll show you guys in a second. Let me pull this up because I didn't want to show you any spoilers coming up for Doomsday Kingdom. But where's it at? As promos, Tismane. Oh yeah, February right here. I'll show you guys in a second. Let me read this. Spin said not to change the subject, but wanted to give a Doomsday Kingdom plug real quick. Pre-orders are open now. Thank you very much, and perfect timing because I wanted to show you guys this. I'm going to go dark here for just a second. Here is the... Wait, nope, that's to add a signature, but here's the... what is it? The signature series, the book plate that's coming with it. Here's issue 2's cover. Friggin' awesome. Issue 3's variant cover. Here's issue 3's real cover. This isn't finalized though. The artist James Mill needs to finish the rendering and get some more stuff done with the coloring. This is just a flat coloring that's over top to give you guys an idea or a reveal of what the cover will look like. So here is the variant second print of issue number 1. I can't wait for that. Oh my god. And we have blanks up for sale, and also, what else is there? Yeah, the signature series is up for pre-order with limited to 150, and that's the one that comes double signed, and then issue 3 is coming soon. So doomsdaykingdom.com, we have wait, I screwed that up. We have the pre-orders all open up. Any questions? doomsdaykingdom@gmail.com. I'll talk to you guys about it there, or try to hit me up. All right, let's scroll down what we got. I was thinking of Whisper Ortiz in season 8 finale. Could be a herd of walkers walking through a field, and a walker stops and looks at the camera and nods at the fans, teasing they're coming. What do you mean nods at the fans, though? Yeah, I don't know. Did you notice when Morgan said make a path in this episode? No, actually I did not. Do you think the storm background... They did that just for us! Confirmed. Do you think the storm background in the promo is foreshadowing for something in this half? I gotta look at that promo. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, storm, war, bad shit. It could be that, but it could be, you know, maybe foreshadowing for a part of the Whisper storyline, because there's a storm in that, like an actual storm. That would be cool. He just stole my super chat announcement. Sorry about that. It was perfect timing. Great minds think alike. This episode made me forget about the trash people. Can we just forget about them? Yeah, I hope we never see them again, to be honest. Carl Grimes' death was really pointless. AMC fucked it up. I'm waiting to see. The letter is a big thing, in my opinion. I'm going to wait and see how it plays out. Season 8 cliffhanger, annoying hip-hop millennium is a pink fuzzy coat. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about the comic. Oh, issue 3 is boobs. Yep. What do we got? Oh yeah, I missed this $2 super chat. Sometimes they don't come up when they're, I think somebody said when they're $2. Let me see. Hold on. Eddie Anglin. Did you hear Morgan say they're trying to make a path? Oh, that's the part. Yeah, I heard that. It didn't click. I gotta get that somehow. I gotta clip that, use that for something. Back is so stiff tonight. What happened to Rick? A lot of people are asking. I think it's teasing some injury he gets coming up in the war. I think that's all that is. Chandler Riggs mentioned the possibility of making a movie recently. Do you think that would be a nice way to conclude the story? And having it a movie? No, they don't need that. They could just conclude it on the TV show. I'm not a big fan of going from TV show to movie. It always feels disjointed, disconnected. Because then when they make a movie, they gotta, oh my God, it's a movie, so we gotta do this and this different. I don't want them to make let's call it a 2-hour ending. Just do it on the TV show. I want the whole last season finale ending. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean they're gonna give it more money. Like just because it's a movie, they're not gonna go, oh, let's dump $50 million in this. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't do that. Not AMC. What happened to Rick at the end? Why isn't Rick losing his shit? It seems like he went crazier with Lori's death and Glenn and Abe's death. Also, by the way, love your vids. Thank you very much, Jordan. Appreciate that. Well, I think right now he's just kind of like in a daze. Like it's just not real. I don't know. It's just pushing through it. Because keep in mind though is, you don't want Rick going off. You know what I'm saying? His kid is dying right in front of him. Rick doesn't want that to be the last thing his dying kid sees. I mean, my God. I mean, that would eat me up if I was dying and I looked up and, someone who loved me was just like crushed because of it. I would hate that. You know what I'm saying? So, it would be a terrible thing to see as you're dying. So, Rick did have to keep it together for a lot of that part. Do you think The Walking Dead still has a long-term future, Ronnie? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not going anywhere. Do you still wish we would have gotten John Hamm as Negan? I still do. I'm still real curious to see what he would have been like as Negan. Absolutely. Well, Aaron is on next week, Talking Dead, so you know what that means. We get an Oceanside episode next week. I'm just not ready for Oceanside, I'll be honest. I'm not ready for it. And you know why? Because I know it's going to be a whole episode, and I don't want a whole episode at Oceanside. Or at least I feel like it'll be a whole episode. And I just don't care to be there for a whole episode. Especially not since we just got The Walking Dead back. Ronnie, if Maggie is going to die this season, how do you see her going out? I don't see her going out. I think it would be terrible if they killed her this season. If the ending is a hint at the weapons, who will die from them since Rick's would likely be a fake out? Tobin's a good pick. Have you seen how negative the top comments on Reddit and Facebook are for The Walking Dead, not to mention atrocious IMDb ratings? Yeah, I see negativity for everything, even when The Walking Dead is killing it with ratings. As a matter of fact, I think that's the most I've seen negative comments, because obviously we get more people seeing it, and then people who don't like the show see it advertised so much, and they just feel compelled to leave negative comments. Yeah, I see them. I think everyone sees them. They're always there. There are some things that were done in the comic that should have been done in the series. Carl losing his eye was one of them that were done in the comic that shouldn't be done in the series. Oh, I like the Carl losing his eye. I'm going to sleep, Ronnie. This was an interesting episode. I hope everyone has a good night. All right, good night, Joshua. We're not going to be on much longer, so you can come back and check out the last 20 minutes or so when you're tomorrow. You better do it. Negan and Rick fight and breaking a leg or stabbing. Maybe a stabbing, but I still think it's going to be a remix of the Dwight versus Rick from the comic, and it will be... I don't think Rick needs a broken leg. I just don't, especially now. I just don't. I think the blood on Rick under the tree is either from him getting hit in the side with a spear, or maybe flash forward after Rick and Negan fight at the end of All Out War. That's possible. That could be possible. Could be him at the very end. Whatever that injury Rick had at the end was in the exact same place as Carl's bite in the midst of all these dream sequences. Anything to this? Well, I didn't look to see if it was in the exact same place. I just thought it was after Carl's death, and then I noticed the blood, and then I really started paying attention. I was like, what? I just saw blood all over. But it is tying it together, you know what I'm saying? I'm assuming he's going to be processing it as he's bleeding. He thinks he's dying. Again, I'm speculating heavy here, and he's processing everything that happened, everything that went on. You know. Do you think this was the most emotional death episode? For me, it was mainly because I have a little sister that's 10 and I am 22, so the goodbye to Judith hit me hard. I don't know. This is a tricky one. I'm going to have to say no, and I'll tell you why. They drug it out. They drug it out. And not just this episode. Let me correct that. If we found out Carl got bit for the first time in the beginning of this episode, and this was the whole, and boom, and we got it all in one, I think it would have been 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, no bullshit, more devastating. I think it probably would have been the most, unique experience I would have ever had in my life watching this series. This would have been one of the top most unique, weird, odd, crazy, oh my friggin' God, what the hell just happened, if they would have shown it all at once. Instead of breaking it up for that cliffhanger, got to come back for next season. I think they hurt the storytelling doing that cliffhanger shit. And I think at this point in time, we're seeing so many fans being pushed away. And their main criticism is it feels like we're watching gimmicks rather than an authentic show we enjoy. And I see that criticism everywhere, and me as a fan from the very beginning, I feel as well. Like, I don't care about Rick anymore. Like, look, we got Rick under a tree with blood. My first thought was, that's weird. Why? I didn't go, oh my God, what is this? Because it's another one of those gimmicky scenes. Okay, it's speculation bait, It's not an authentic one. It's not organic coming right out of the show where it's like, whoa, we got to discuss that shit, So same thing with the Carl. For me, it wasn't devastating. I had months to ready up for it, Same thing with Glenn. Same thing happened with Glenn and Abraham. I think the only part that got me was the characters afterwards, some of the interactions afterwards, because that was like something you don't prepare for, and then it's like, oh, okay, that chokes you up a bit. How do you think Carl's legacy is going to impact the show and the Law and Order after this episode? I know you have talked about this, but maybe some things maybe change your mind, Ronnie. No, I do think Rick saying over and over, I'm going to make this real. I think that in a way is going to explain why Rick has a beard later on. He had a beard, or why he gets a beard in the TV show, in the comic he just did, in the show. This is the explanation for that. It'll explain why they have the fair, because Carl talked about it. Carl wrote letters, that's going to tie in there. Carl took that Polaroid of Judith, so we will see that picture again. And keep in mind, the Polaroid touches all the way back to the beginning of All Out War with Negan killing Glenn and Abe and then taking Polaroid pictures of the dead bodies. Now we have something where it is the complete opposite of a Polaroid that's taken in violence and death and yada yada yada. This is a character that is taking a loving, positive picture with his baby sister, and that's his legacy, so to speak, where Negan, in a way, his legacy, his reign of terror was captured in those Polaroids. The legacy for a future of working together as a community was captured in the Polaroid between Carl and in memory of Carl. They're going to use that later. I'm speculating. So I think, matter of fact, I forget what the original question was. Let's just pretend I covered the whole thing. Judith goodbye hit me hard. Don't care if any other fans feel differently. It didn't think I would cry, but I fell apart. Yeah, I feel you on that. Like I said before, like as a dad, there's certain moments that hit me harder than others, especially when it comes to that. You think the end of the war will get a Rick having a vision of Carl, Glenn, and Abe, talking to him maybe when he's lying under a tree? I don't know. this comes up a lot when characters die, and I always think of it feeling too much like Star Wars, like the Force Ghosts. So like off the top of my head, I don't want them to do that. No, unless it's more like how they did the Vision with the dinner. That was okay. How do you, yeah, you know, guys, no one, we don't do all cap questions here and stuff, because then it just looks ridiculous, because then people are like, everyone starts all capitalizing their things. So, you lay off the caps. How do you think Carl's legacy is going to, okay, I think we talked about this. Okay, yeah, that was the question I answered before. I think that's pretty much it. The legacy is going to continue with the communities coming together, working together with the fair and the celebration and all that. And Ronnie just joined the stream, so my bad if you already gave your thoughts. But do you think we are going to have a longer time skip after the war and have Judith? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think other characters will get the remixed Whisperer storyline. I looked closely. There was an arrow stuck in the side. I don't know if I believe you. No offense. I'll look closely. We'll cover it tomorrow. We'll cover that. Does anyone know, right? Rick shit himself? What the fuck did they put that in for? I'm going a little overboard. Yeah, he shit blood everywhere. The Talking Dead was awkward tonight. Oh, you can't say that and then not tell us why. Tell us why. What happened to the baby they found with the Saviors? The baby's at the hilltop. Will Rick go insane again, or do you think the old man Rick Kane could be connected to Rick's injury leg? No, that was just a hallucination, unless they go with it anyway. And I don't think Rick is going to go insane again. I think he. Listen, here's the thing. You know, Carl got killed out there in that world. In the comic book, they make, after the all-out war, they make a big deal with the roads, you know, being safe. And if they're not going to break his leg, it would be a good direction to go if instead they have Rick a little super overprotective of Judith, and he doesn't want to leave Alexandria and go on any dangerous missions and be away from his daughter. He wants to keep an eye on her. I think that would be a nice direction to go. You know, I think we got another super chat right here. Tiffany Moore, $5 super chat. How do you think Negan will react to Carl's death? By the way, I love your videos. You are awesome. Where did your super chat go? I don't remember seeing it. Wow, it was far up here. Yeah, Tiffany Moore here. We talked about this just recently, so I'll run through this quick, but I think Negan will show some empathy towards Rick about it. But other than that, you know, he's going to just be like, yeah, I like that kid. That's a shame. I don't think there's more to it, because keep in mind, remember, he was going to bash his head in. So thank you very much, Tiffany, for the super chat and supporting the channel. Let's scroll down and see what we got. What do we got? How do you feel about the decision of them killing off Carl? Right now, I'm still undecided. I got to see it all play out. Right now, I'm 60%. I'm more leaning towards. I don't necessarily understand it quite yet. Maybe not all the way fully agree with it yet, but I'm still leaving it open to see what direction they're going to go in. Well, I think it's Carl's flash forward visions would be taken literally or accurate real future. Well, no, I don't think Carl's visions of the future are just his hallucination. It should not be looked at like the real future. That's not it. That's not it at all. Look at it more of symbolic than anything. Should they skip the New Beginning storyline because I think fans? No, they shouldn't skip it. Wait, All Out War is boring, and then how they accept the New Beginning. Well, you're only taking the labels though. You're like, All Out War is boring. No, it's what they're doing with it. What they're doing with it. Honestly, it's not up to par as what it should be. Real shit, real talk. Even though I really enjoy certain things they're doing, All Out War so far has been really underwhelming, and the story they're telling is nowhere near as good as the story they should be telling. You know, for a number of different reasons, but it has nothing to do with it being an all-out war. No, it's the war they're telling. That's what fans are having a problem with. As far as the New Beginning, if it is interesting, it's suspenseful, it introduces new and fresh things and exciting things, they'll love it. They're not going to care what it's about. They're not going to care that it's a new beginning, a fresh start. They're not going to care that it's, showing the whole world again, or the new communities. No, if it's if it's written well, they're going to love it. Carl Death was similar to Andrea's. Yes, it was. Joey Cat 1000 with a $2 super chat. I screwed that up. Think they're going to find the woman who shot Dwight? I don't know. I wonder what's up with that. I mean, we know they don't find her, I guess, or she doesn't make it back. I don't know. Are you happy with Gavin's death, or did you want him to live? I'm 50-50 on it. I thought he was going to live for a second. I wanted more from it, but I'm cool to see how it plays out. Was that Rick bleeding next to a tree, essentially dreaming of Carl's dream? Well, I don't know if that's a bit like too much on top of too much, but yeah, that was Rick bleeding next to a tree, and he got wounded during a battle in All Out War. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. I hate that Carl didn't call Michonne mom. Yeah, but then again, that might have been a little too forced, a little too much. I love the best friends line. I think, you know what? I think I love it better than the mom line. In no bullshit. It was such fitting. It's more fitting, I think. Yeah, I think it's perfect. Rick and Michonne just started getting together, in their timeline. It's been a while for us, but for them, it's a recent, relationship. That's Carl's best friend, I don't know. I love it that way. Will Rick use the too far gone phrase in a certain upcoming final speech? Possibly. Maybe. If Maggie dies, what happens to her baby? Is the baby from the sanctuary the replacement? If Maggie dies, there is no baby. If Maggie is going to leave, I honestly think they'd get rid of the baby too, to be honest. Or maybe just slowly push the baby into the background and we never see him again until, here and there. The baby is not really important, let's be honest. Especially if Maggie's not in the story. We don't ever need to see the baby again. Just, little Glenn's over there somewhere. Wait, Smuggler says, will we ever see the return of the ponytail Ronnie? No, probably never. I am not a fan of hair. Here's funny enough. Not a fan of hair, but I don't think I want to go bald. I don't know. It's like, I probably should. Somebody else should probably get the lottery to have hair. I can't stand hair. I've been shaving my head since I was 14-ish, I grew that out. I was going to film a short with some people in Pennsylvania. It fell through. I had to move. They delayed it. And I was supposed to have long hair in that. I couldn't take it anymore. And once it got delayed for the final time, I shaved it again. I'm probably never growing my hair back. I don't know. I think I look stupid with hair, I'll be honest. And you got to do shit with it all the time. My hair sucks. It's like flat and then curly. Like this is all curly and then this is all flat. And it just like lays there. You slick it back, it lays there. It's annoying. It's absolutely annoying. What do we got? I hope he doesn't. Do you think Rick will break his leg? I hope not. I don't think we need it. Do you think... Wait. Do you think they'll do something like Walking Dead Weekly again, but for the newer issues? No, they won't. They won't sell enough. Ronnie, would most people really care if The Walking Dead didn't get a season 9? Most people in the world? No. There's, how many people? 7 billion or something? Most people won't care. Most fans of The Walking Dead? Yes, they'll care. They'll be really pissed. I'd be furious. A New Beginning should be the title for season 9 premiere. I hope so. I'm going to miss Honor Star Morgan when he leaves The Walking Dead. Yeah. When will Carol die? Season 10. I thought Carl would say, Dad, marry Michonne. I'm not up for that. Better watch your mouth, please. It still sucks. Where are we at? I assume Sadiq was extremely guilty about being the cause of Carl's death. Also, people can be speechless in these deathbed situations. Smashed. Wait, where are we at here? Wait, do you think Andrea and Rick would have hooked up by now if she was still alive? Yeah, they would have went that way, that direction. You have a decent head to go bald with, though. Wait, you have a decent head to go bald with, though. Some people don't. Yeah, I agree with that. I do have. I think I cracked my skull though, so I legit have like a crack in the back of my head, so that might not be all that appealing. You can't see it, you know what I mean? It's just I know it's there. I strongly disagree. Denai is stunning. I think she's beautiful, especially when she smiles. She smiles, it's like, come here, marry me. I love smiles. Ronnie lives in a paradox. Hates hair but doesn't want to be bald. I don't know what to tell you. It's like if you could choose, you know, hey, do you mind going bald? I'd rather not, but in the same strength, does it matter? I'm gonna be bald by choice anyway because I'm always buzzing. Like this is getting a little long. I'll be buzzing it soon. So you know, why not just go bald? What's the fucking point? All right, listen. Rip the Walking Dead. That's a bit much. Wait till he turns his head. Is Juliet back to 100%? Hope she's feeling better. Yes, she's still sleeping. Still a little drained, you know, but she's making a comeback. Thanks for asking. Wait, how did I miss this? Oh, okay. Miss Starbright 84. I feel like Carl's death was rushed. I was not satisfied at all. Love your videos and keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Which part do you feel was rushed? Because it was a whole episode. Do you mean like the suddenness, or did you want him alive for another episode? Or let us know. Lauren's role is about to get huge again. Maybe she just feels stagnant. Is walking. Wait, where'd it go? We'll see Negan kill the Walker. Wait, will we see Negan kill the Walker next episode? I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. We might be seeing Oceanside next. Imagine if the Whisperers dug up the bodies in Alexandria to make masks with. I don't know if that would work though. You know, they'd be all decayed. You know, when people are burying everyone nowadays in the Walking Dead world, they don't have chemicals and all that to preserve them. They don't have all that crap they do for funerals that, you know, we have now. So I think they're gonna rot real quick. I don't think that you can use those. Do you think they're setting up Morgan's departure to fear through his clear personality? Yeah, they're clearly doing that. They're clearly doing that. Carol and Ezekiel clearly were against Clear Morgan, and that could cause him to believe he needs to leave. Yeah, I think that's the direction they're gonna go. Lisa Jet says, haven't seen yet, so I can't comment about, so I guess I will just say to you, Troy's alive, wink and nudge. Oh, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Get going. Troy's dead. He's dead and gone. He's literally swimming with the fishes. But hey, you never know. It is Fear the Walking Dead after all. You never know. They had a zombie literally get struck by lightning. So, what did you think about the red machete? I'm going to do a video on that. I like the red machete. Consistency really bugs me though, and his hair's way off. But I know that's something where you can't ask him to cut his hair to look like that role, especially for something like this. And we could just pretend he gets a haircut before he runs into Daryl, you know? Rinaldi says, Denai Guerrera, did I say that right? Is my TV wife. Ronnie, move over. I'll fight you for. Wait, what? Why did Carl want to kill Negan last season but does not this? I'm hoping the letter explains that a little more. I saw the preview for next week. It appears to lead to the theory that Simon was the one who killed all the people from Oceanside. I believe so. I believe so. That's the ongoing theory. Ronnie, will Rick force Negan to pay for a new wall around Alexandria? Yes. Yep, that's from the comic books. Do you think Siddiq will take some of Carl's comic storyline, especially because of the age similarity? For really, I don't know. Is Siddiq really that young? Maybe it's, you know, the dirt being in the sewer. I thought maybe he was in his 20s. You know, I didn't think he was young. You know, is he? I'll tell. I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead. I am. I'll still watch if Rick dies in seasons 11 or 12. Also, remember, his Joe gangs aren't the same guys. The one looked like he could have been. The one that got choked out. I watched on a little phone, though. So, Ronnie, do you think Ezekiel will get his comic death? If so, what other characters could possibly join him? I think it's likely. And a handful. Rosita, sure, she's good for the picking. I think they'll pretty much keep those. And then Henry will get one. Instead of having Josh, it'll be Henry. And then I think that'd be crazy as hell. What time is that? All right, we're gonna we're gonna answer the last few questions and shut it down. Sorry, I'm not doing a 2-hour or like an hour and a half stream. We might make it to an hour and a half, to be honest. I don't know what's with me. I took Tylenol and stuff, and my head is killing me, dude. My head is pounding, and then the more I'm trying to read the questions, the more it's like behind the eyes type headache. So, but we will be back. We got videos finally coming out consistently this week. Maybe not every day, but I definitely have a bunch lined up, and we're getting back into doing the analyzed videos. So hopefully we'll catch right up. So. Did you see Rick tell Negan, "I'm going to kill you once again" in the promo? Yes. It's becoming a meme. Hey, Ronnie, do you think that scene with Eugene had any significance? Off the top of my head, when I first seen it, no. I just figured they picked people, you know. When's the crossover to Fear? Anyone know? The end of the season, going into next season. Have to admit, mind blown when they revealed Old Man Rick was Carl's vision. Oh yeah, I give him props on that. I didn't think that at all. I thought it had to have been, you know, Rick. Ever since we first saw it, had to have been Rick dreaming it, you know. I cried the whole episode, especially when Judith reached for Carl, Carl saying she would beat this world. My dog was licking my face every time I cried, laughed out loud. That's one thing I got right. I assumed, because it was too weird in the promo, it made it seem like Carl was saying that to his dad, and I was like, that's a little too weird. But Judith is a perfect fit, and sure enough, he was. Yo, what do you think about Alpha killing Negan instead of the other way around? I don't know what the point of that would be, though. You know, if you can find a good point for that story-wise, maybe. But you know, we know the point for Negan, you know, the redemption and all that. We don't know what the point would be to reverse that, other than to, oh my God, look, it's different. Ronnie, the new beginning would be like seeing episodes devoted to Magna's group early on, so we get to spend more time with them. Wait. I'd only like to see it if they're going to do something with Magna. You know, if she's going to be a new group we can get behind. Do you feel like they showed us close up on how Carl was bit, how they showed us his reactions to the bite? No, I did not like that. I'll say this again. I totally forgot. I didn't write it down. When they show us Carl getting bit, this consistency is something that bothers the hell out of me. It's inconsistent from when he actually was in that situation the first time. If you remember, he did stare in front of him, and then when he rolls up, he looks down. Now, since they wanted to linger the camera on him, they have him kind of sitting there breathing, and then like, oh my God, and then looking down. And I know it's a little thing, but the consistency is just off. And then the other guy saying, okay, yeah, I don't know, I'll match it, I'll watch it and match it up, but for me it felt like it was way off. You know, it felt like when they had Sam going, "Mom, Mom, Mom," for the cliffhanger, and then we come back and they totally skip that, and that was the big cliffhanger, like, oh my God, they're in so much trouble. I didn't like that either. Angela did a reaction video, but not sure how good the lighting was. You were like, wow, when Henry got Gavin, I was loud. Figured he would follow Carol. Yeah, I got a little annoyed that he followed. My blood pressure is high. I've been tested recently. All my shit's flying colors. Maybe it got high on me. I don't know. Is that something that gets high and then low every now and then? I don't know. Where's it at? Where's it at? Right here. Joey Cat 1000. Do you think Simon going to take over Negan's place? No, I don't think so. Ronnie, what do you think about the shot of wounded Rick near a tree? Men, I have a feeling it has something to do with the upcoming comic event. Yep, you're right. You're right about that. Because everyone used caps in the chat would be unreadable. Yeah, we don't do all caps in the chat. I don't think anyone does that in their live streams. Or at least everybody asks people not to do that. It gets out of hand. It gets difficult to read. And then you get people just doing it for attention, and then it like spreads, and it gets crazy. Wait. When do you think Commonwealth will show up? Probably, it depends on how they want to play out the next storyline. Probably season... wait, what are in 8, 9? If they rushed it, the 9. If they just played it the way they've been going, probably 10. How do you think Negan will react to Gavin's death? Will we find out the kid did it? I don't think he's going to find out stuff like that. I don't think he's going to care. He might be like, wow, okay, props to the kid, you know? But he's going to be mad that one of his lieutenants was killed. What was the biggest fuck up the writers have made in The Walking Dead? The biggest, the absolute biggest, the Negan cliffhanger. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of fans. Even some fans that watch, and like I said before, you see the comments that are so similar to The Walking Dead, no longer feeling like an organic show that they're watching and enjoying. It feels like it's the writers are chasing a gimmick, you know. And I see that as somebody who looks at the online community all the time. It's something that either I convenient or coincidentally see all the time, like I just so happen to see it all the time, or that is a big problem that fans are having, where they feel like the show's becoming like we're chasing gimmicks rather than enjoying an authentic, you know, storyline. Tara should have thrown. Nah, I don't know. I think that would have been a little, you know, inappropriate. The extended part of 808 with Simon talking to Maggie was pretty much exactly the same as the original version. I didn't watch that. I gotta look for that. That's crazy. On pro sets, they mark everything, even make stands and sit there in the same spot. I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah, they do mark everything. They even take pictures. Like when a certain character has cuts or wounds or anything, they take lots of pictures of it, and then they all do it the same way. But no matter what they do, there's a lot of mistakes pros make, you know, inconsistencies here and there. It's just bound to happen. You think Carl's letter to Rick is something about the saviors that Rick didn't know? No, I think it's just about how he feels about the war and life and how they can live together. Would you like the first trailer to not show much of the communities? Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm fine with that. I want the first trailer to be, I'm going to keep saying it, atmospheric with this life and everything they've conquered and they're now living. You know, everything they fought for, they're now living it. And then here comes this new and different threat. And leave it a mystery. Even in the trailer, just leave it a mystery that's beyond zombies and put something out there. Like keep, especially the woods, just show something out there and silhouettes of zombies or what we appear to be zombies shuffling. Make it real atmospheric. Ronnie, how do you think the comics will play out now that the new group is here? To be honest, I think the group is completely ridiculous. I have a video coming up more about that because we have a new cover they revealed. Yeah, they did parallel that. Wait, would you stop watching if they left the Whisperer head spikes for a cliffhanger? No, I'm not going to stop watching just because of a cliffhanger, but that would be ridiculous. I think the Whisperer story arc will last a season and a half. Commonwealth is season 11, second half, in my opinion. Q&A, how will Negan react to Carl's death? Now, a lot of people are interested in that. Maybe I must be out of touch with it. Comic Negan, I think there's something there, you know. But TV show Negan, why does he care? He was going to bash Carl's head in like 5 days previous, you know. So I don't know why Negan would care that Carl died, you know. Again, he'd feel sympathy and empathy to Rick because obviously he lost, you know, someone that he loved, so he understands. But in the same strength, you know, Negan is a selfish prick, you know. I think the Whisperer story arc will last. Okay, we already did that. What's wrong with Rick's hand at the end of the show? Nothing's wrong with his hand. It looks like his stomach is bleeding. Do you feel Carl was a bit delusional about putting down the guns given the current state of affairs with Saviors? No, I think Carl said something that I've been saying for a long time. You can't kill them all. Some of them are just doing it because they have to. Some of them are doing it, you know, because they think this is the way. Some of them are doing it yada yada yada. Not all of them are pieces of shit. Even if they were, even if some of them are like, okay, this is the world we live in now. We're with this group because we don't know that group, you know. What we hear is this group came and slaughtered our people in their sleep. That's who Rick and them are to them. So you can't just go around and murder every single savior, you know. It's just not possible, first off. And second off, you don't need to. You just need to get the leader out of there. So I agree with Carl completely about, you know, moving forward by working together, but I disagree where, you know, just take Negan out. You know what I'm saying? That's why I disagree. Just get the leader that you can't work with out of the picture, and then work with one that you can. All right, we're gonna get ready to shut this down. Let's take a couple more questions though before we shut her down. Yeah, we're looking good on time. Let's see what we got. Love to channel. What do you think about the helicopter now? Still the dumpster people, divers? No, I'm not convinced. I think there's something there, but I'm not convinced. I mean, it might be, but now that we see them all die, I don't know what the point would be. I'm at a loss with the helicopter. To be honest, yeah, I'm at a loss. I honestly don't know. It might connect to Morgan, but then again, that gets a little problematic because does a helicopter really travel that distance? Good night, Ronnie. See you next week. Good night, buddy. Why at least shoot some saviors? Why didn't Daryl get a better goodbye with Carl? I don't know. He just joined the stream. Did he talk about how Rick? Yeah, I think he just got injured in the war. Why they wanted to kill Carl? Why didn't they just act? Trouble Carl. Yeah. Wait, what? If they wanted to kill Carl, why didn't they just actually have Carl chop Rick's hand off? I don't think they knew they were going to kill Carl in season 7, I'll be honest. Because you're right, if so, why don't they just have Rick do it, you know? Then again, I think that scene plays good the way it is, so maybe they did know. Something is stabbing in Rick's hand at the end. I'll look at it. Ronnie, we're doing a video on it tomorrow, so do you watch football? No, I don't. I haven't watched football a day in my life. So my family are all casual viewers, and they all talk about how the show needed to end and that they're getting bored of it. Thoughts? Well, I will give you my serious thoughts only if you don't get upset, because I know it's your family, but I don't think casual viewers, unless you're saying that right. Like, a casual viewer to me is someone who, well, I'll watch it because it's on. Sometimes I enjoy it, but I'll just check it out because, you know, I don't think they should have a say like that. Think about how ridiculous that is. Let's say I casually watch Lord of the Rings. I saw some of the movies, but I don't care about a new season. Is it fair for me to say they shouldn't make a TV show? There's massive fans out there that would love a TV show. So yeah, my thoughts is simple. I don't think casual fans should have a say in whether or not they should end the show. You're a casual fan. I mean, you'll watch it maybe, blah, blah, blah. I don't want them to end the show. I think it's ridiculous that we're even talking about ending it. I hate when people say, oh man, I'm a huge fan, but this show just needs to end already. It like triggers me. How are you a huge fan, but you're dying for it to end? I don't get that. I want to watch them continue to survive in the zombie apocalypse. That's what I signed on for. I get a lot of fans going, I just want the cure. I just want it to end. And I think, like, why? Why? That's not the point of the show, you know? We're watching them throughout their long-ass journey. You know what I mean? It's still going on. Even if Rick showed mercy, how do you feel they could justify not having Daryl slaughter the saviors? Well, once the saviors are no longer a threat and, you know, they're put in a position to work together, I don't think Daryl's going to have that same view. Killing Carl fucked up the show, said Young Gangster. Wait, we got another super chat. I didn't see that. Charmelon asked if I saw Lauren Cohan in Van Wilder. No, I did not. Is that right? Van Wilder 2? I think you spelled it wrong. You did. You're missing letters. I'm assuming it's Van Wilder. You're missing an I. I didn't know she was in that. Isn't that an old show movie? I didn't know she was in that. Who gives a shit about the helicopter now? Carl's gone. Laugh out loud. Wait. Helicopter can what? Helicopter can fly 975 miles on 1 tank of gas. Seriously? That sounds like a long way. I'll have to look at that. Sounds like a long ass way. When Doomsday Kingdom kicks off, would you consider making limited edition rider masks? Yippers. We have ideas for lots of different merchandise, you know? Ronnie, do you think TV Rick would stand a chance against Comic Negan in a full-on fight to the death with no weapons? Probably not. Comic Negan is a beast. How do you think Maggie would react to Carl's death? She'll be broken up about it. Yeah, good night. We're about to end this anyway, so you can come back tomorrow. Do it and check out the last few minutes. Do you think... Wait, we'll ever do the Whispers? I don't read the comics, but I heard they're pretty messed up. Yeah, I think we're going to do the Whispers on the show. Or I think they will. I don't know why I said we. I was going to say we're getting the Whispers, but are you excited for the new Halloween movie coming out this year? No. I don't have any faith in horror Hollywood. I don't have any at all. I think they're making it just to make money off it. I don't think they actually care about the story or the franchise. Yeah, I think so, Dylan. We'll know soon. Why didn't Carl go down in a stream of bullets instead of suicide? Well, because they apparently need the reason for people coming together instead of fighting. So, should The Walking Dead be animated? I think we should get an exact, comic book that's animated, sure, but that's in addition to what we get now. Doomsday Kingdom issue 2, yes or no, is to be with issue 3, not work on the site. Man, just letting you know. Wait, the Doomsday Kingdom issues 2, yes or no, is to be with issues 3. Oh, yeah, it is working. It's just for some reason Squarespace, it's not showing the add to cart. It's the I put it, if you read the description when you first click on it, I made sure to put it the first thing it says. You had to have read that part unless you've seen it before we caught this. You have to click on the bottom left hand corner of the box. For some reason it says add to cart, but you don't see it unless you move your mouse over that part or if you tap near there. So the bottom left hand corner for the pop-up where it tells you, do you want to reserve or do you want to hold it, yada yada yada, or the signature series will register your number. For some reason I fixed that, but Squarespace still has it invisible. I don't know why. That's such a dumb thing to do on their website. That's so stupid. Scott Gimple confirmed in an interview that Whispers are absolutely on the menu for the future. Yeah, I agree with. I believe that. I mean, since Henry killed Gavin, does this set up the Morgan to kill Jared? I hope so. To finally get revenge and give the audience a much needed reward. I hope so. Or maybe he doesn't, and that's his moment where he's like, yeah, okay, I need to pull away and yada yada yada, and then somebody else does. So that'd be cool. Have I seen The Ritual on Netflix? No. It's a solid horror movie. I'll check it out. Of course, take care. They brought Nick Castle back to play Michael Myers. We'll see. I mean, we'll see when they watch it. But if you think for a second that, and you know what, I could be wrong. You could have a whole team of passionate fans behind Halloween. Sorry, but do you know the shitstorm that they got when they didn't bring the original guy back for Jason? That was huge, in the horror fan base. You don't think Hollywood knows that? Yeah, they're going to look at that and go, well, we need to bring so-and-so back to play Michael Myers, yada, yada, yada. So I'm still skeptical. I don't believe it. I don't think they give a shit. I think they're just doing it for money. And I would love to be wrong. As a matter of fact, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're a bunch of fans making this and they're going to make it good. So what do we got here? Last questions. Did you like Chandler's performance tonight? I don't know. It was so dark I couldn't see. I mean, it sounded good, but I couldn't see any of it. And I'm going to wait till I get it on Amazon. For some reason it looks a little brighter on there. I'm glad you make your characters wear armor in Doomsday Kingdom. I seriously don't understand why characters in The Walking Dead don't. not a problem. That's something I still wonder about, because I do think Rick put something on his arm, didn't he, in the prison when they were clearing it out? But yeah, in Doomsday Kingdom, it's a touch different. You have something different than just, you know, the regular shuffling zombies. But yeah, characters learn a little early on that if you put something that can't be bitten through, you're gonna be good. You know, you're still gonna have problems. Like the Rider, he takes his clothes off the one of the first times we see him when he actually gets bit with the armor on, and his shit is hurting. I mean, he even says the pressure made it feel like his bone was about to snap. But he's got these big, huge bruises on him because you still get the pressure from the bite until you can get the zombie off or kill it. So, and I love that. There's a moment where he's taking his shit off and he's got these massive bruised areas, you know. That kid is going to really be the little serial killer Negan saw in Carl. Great way to remix the prison Negan chats. He said, hey, there's a bunch of you. Hit that like button, damn it. What do you think people can't accept a man and woman as friends? Let me see what you're saying. Man and woman as friends. First Rosita and Daryl, now Rosita and Dwight. This shit is getting correct. Oh, I never understood why the shipping part of the community is so on fire. I just have never been in touch with it like that. I like people being friends, and then when it comes to characters getting together, there's only a few times where I'm like, you know what, that would work, and I do like that. But I noticed when two characters are together alone on screen, fans instantly ship them. Like Maggie and Eduardo had that one moment, that like 10 seconds where they're talking about gardening, whatever. They're talking about gardening. What the fuck, Ronnie? Garden in ing. Yeah, that works. And they're talking about berries and shit. And after that, immediately, I got all these notifications for fans who shipped them, and he should be the new Dante. It's everywhere. Rosita and Daryl, same thing. It's everywhere. Rosita and Dwight now, apparently. I don't know. It's crazy. You think the Whisper, the all-out war story arc is crap? Wait. Carpenter's executive producer for the new film, not directing. What the fuck are our messages get deleted? Why the fuck all these messages get deleted? I don't know. Messages, when you see them get deleted, it's just you're looking at the trolls and spam bullshit questions. So who do you think will take over Carl's relationship with Negan as the whole Whisperer story arc? I think they're going to remix it somewhat different. I think he's going to have some interactions with Rick, Gabriel, and Daryl at this point in time. Could be different people too. Do you think they'll go a little overboard with Rick's sweat? Sometimes, but no. It's hot as shit where they film. Some of it I think might be real. Ronnie, I love the pic of you and Juliet on the Doomsday Kingdom website. Thank you very much, Nicole. Ronnie, I love Doomsday Kingdom. How do you feel about Rosita and Dwight's relationship? How they helped him in the last episode and kind of defended him in this episode? Well, I think it's, you know, it's a human one. I'm cool with how they're gardening. I think it's fine how it's playing out, you know. I'm not sold on them being anything more than that, though. We're not talking about women's chests. Oh, yeah. That's all they're talking about. Someone has the hots for Maggie. That's why you're seeing questions being removed. You're gonna beat this world. You're smart. You're strong. You're so brave. Do you think Carl made a note for Negan? I don't see why he would. Thanks for not bashing my head in. You know? Rick's big red sobbing scary eyes. Just ignite them. If a character has 2 or more bodies on the show, they will not ship them. Check the statistics. So no ship for Rosita. JDM said he'll forever be disappointed of only scratching the surface of what could have been with Carl and Negan's relationship. Yeah, I mean, that could have been such a cool thing back and forth with Carl and Negan. I am with him. I'm disappointed too. We're not going to get that. I don't know why everyone wants Henry to take over Carl's storyline. I think maybe I'm never going to understand that or never going to see why they would do that either, because you just keep Carl and you'd have the same thing accomplished. I don't know why they would. We have no connection with the Henry kid. Even after this, he's a background character. Henry is going to die in season 9 in the Whispers. He's going to die with them. Comic fans, you got an idea of how. That's a perfect setup for that, because the alternative is some kid that you bring on in first episode and kill off in like the 7th episode, and you only show him 3 or 4 times so that way we can get familiar with his face. Henry would be a little more shocking. Wait, Kendall says, I wasn't talking about shipping aspect of Dwight and Rosita, but more of her sticking up for him. Not like, yeah, I'm cool with how it's playing out, because she's seeing that he's pulling his own weight. She's pushed enough people away, so she's kind of loosening up a bit. Morgan's not going to die. Agent Flea, no, he's going over to the new the other show, and that's taking place after this season, so he can't die. If they start killing more of the saviors like Henry did, people might start killing the actors playing them. Just saying. What? I don't know what you're talking about. If they don't start killing more of the saviors. Oh, if they don't start. What do you think about the clip of the web episode tonight with Joe? I liked it. I liked it. Wait, Ronnie, do you think the New Beginning will be extremely different from the comics, all the way down to how characters look? This is a tricky one. Some of it, yes. Some of it, no. It'll be very similar. I don't want them to just... wait. Carl is young like in the comics, but they're trying to make him look like a badass when he killed Gavin. Yeah, I see what you mean. Alright, last couple. Ronnie, did you like Negan being in a dream? Yeah, it was fine with it. What's up, Matt? Do you think Carl's death was underwhelming? I think it lacks something. It was missing something a bit, but like I said, though, I think the big thing for me was having the reveal as a cliffhanger and then waiting so long and then getting the whole episode. If it was all done in one episode, I think it would have been, like I said, one of the most unique and amazing experiences in the entire series. It would have been like another Sophia. Like that, it was just like, whoa, we kind of got robbed of that because they were setting it up so you need to come back. It was done for views. There's no way around that. There's no way to argue that. That's done strictly for views. That doesn't help the story the way they broke it up at all, especially in the middle of a big break. I don't know. I'm going to look at the Rick bleeding under the tree. We'll cover that tomorrow, most likely. When I said a casual fan, I meant someone who watches it every weekend. They want it to end like Breaking Bad, strong and good while the series is hot. Yeah, I'm still gonna disagree. Breaking Bad is something different. Walking Dead can't be like Breaking Bad. I know what you mean, though. I know what your family wants. They want it to be the best and end the best. Breaking Bad is a fantastic story from beginning to end, absolutely. The Walking Dead is a very long story, though. I think it's unfair to say, yeah, we need to shut it down. I mean, look, that is not going to happen anyway. The Walking Dead had its crown, and it definitely has fumbled some. So it's never going to end, especially with some rocky seasons. So we just don't have to worry about that. The thing we need now is to just the stories to pick up and stay great and continue to stay great for the next couple years, and then they can end it properly. Probably like season 13-ish would be like a great end. Maybe season 12. I think that would work, and then makes sense for the story-wise, and then for the actors on the show, and then for the new series they're gonna start after that, or the new whatever, the new movie, the new book, the new game. Tell me you saw the Strangers Pray at Night movie trailer. Oh yeah, I seen that. I wanna see that. It says The Quiet or something. Wait, A Quiet Place. Is that the one you're talking about? That movie looked good. We can all live in the prison, or none of us can. That's what's going to happen between Rick and Negan and Alexandra. Do you think this will change the way Negan and Rick fight it out like in the comics? I think they're still going to have a scuffle. Yeah. Wait, Ronnie, how you have been saying that it wasn't necessary for Carl to die in order to have a reason for Rick not killing Negan, you're 100% right. I still feel 100% right. It's only my opinion, but I still stand by that. Why is Judith's hair so light? Is she Lori or Shane's kid? She's Shane's. Right, and how Morgan reacted when he saw Henry kill Gavin. He's going to change and go back to not killing. Nobody major had to die in order for Negan to learn that. Nope. All right, we got to get rolling. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we hung in there for 140. Yeah, I'm going to get rolling, get going. And thank you guys for coming out and chit-chatting about The Walking Dead again. We're going to be here. Gimple said on Talking Dead we were getting a totally nude Walker. Why does that matter? I don't know why that matters. I'm going to have to go and look that up and see what the context is about that, because I don't know why that matters. For a cool Walker scene, maybe, you know, yeah, that's cool. But all right. Thanks everyone, everyone who kicked in for the super chat, hitting that like button, showing up, commenting, and keeping this community active, and the mods for helping out with any trolls or anything else that's going on. You know, we got only a tiny amount on this channel, but it's the internet, so it happens. So thank you very much for helping tonight and keeping things organized, and I'll see you guys here next Sunday. Do not forget, anyone who's interested in the Doomsday Kingdom pre-orders, they are out. And if you're waiting, if you're one who wants to wait for issue 3, these pre-orders, we're starting it up for the people who want to order separately. If you do want to order now and have your orders held for you, there's an option until you get issue 3. If you just want to get issue 2 now and then maybe the second print or a blank or some other restock, yes, you can get them now, and then when the pre-orders come in, we'll send those separately. So there's a couple options, and if you do have any other questions, or maybe I didn't make something clear enough, shoot me a message, doomsdaykingdom@gmail.com, and then based on your suggestions or something I didn't make clear enough, maybe we'll look at the website again and just put maybe like a fact sheet up or page to clarify everything, how it works. So, and like I said, the reason why it gets a little hit and miss is because if we just went straight out and bought 1,000 copies of issue 2, it would sell out, and then we would be left with so many people who are like, oh, I wanted to order it. So this way we were able to see the initial interest and then get you know, a few hundred copies more. We did that with issue 1 and it worked out perfectly, and we still sold out, but we still got the majority out. So that system worked well with issue 1, so we're going to do that with issues 2 and 3 as well, where we put up the pre-orders for a few weeks, we count up all the orders that come in, and then we buy a few hundred more than that to get up everyone who was waiting for the pre-orders to be over. All right. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Go get some rest, and I guess rest in peace, Carl. You'll be missed. You'll be missed, absolutely. The fans are going to all wear hats in your honor, I guess. That's the only thing you could do. Good night, guys.